saying, I've never led a meeting before and I am all ears. I don't know what I'm doing. And if I'm out of order, if I'm saying something incorrectly, please tell me. I would love the help and the any helpful hints you have to pass along. So my name is Wendy Sylvester Rowan. I am calling the meeting to order. And when I call your name, could you please say your name, say that you're here. Megan Holland, not here. Matt, and could somebody help me pronounce Matt's last name? Borgie Whale, am I correct?
I think it's Borgie Wheel.
Borgie Wheel.
Yeah.
Wheel.
Weil.
Thank you.
It's Weil.
Borgie Weil.
Oh, okay, thank you. Okay. Tetta Hughes. Not yet. Karen Jennings.
Here.
All right. Gabby Kindig.
Here.
All right. Laura Scales. She is hopefully happy with baby, not here. Myself, Wendy Sylvester Rowan. Abby Taikaki.
Here.
Awesome. And Austin Pavian.
I am also here.
Awesome.
Oh, hello, Austin.
Yeah. And hey, Jesse, how are you? All right. So do I have a motion to approve the agenda? Do we need to bring that up to see?
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna say, Justin, can you share the agenda with us? Screen share with us?
Yes, one moment.
Thank you.
All right. If everybody, I hope everybody's taken a peek at that prior to coming on. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
I move to approve the agenda.
I'll second. Gabby will second.
Thank you, Abby. All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. All right. Okay. Next on the list is approval of the minutes for August 20th. I did find in there 2 typos. I don't know if we need to correct those or not, but it says Commission Taikaki as opposed to Commissioner Taikaki on 2 places. I think it was in the 7.3 towards the end.
Thank you.
I noticed that a few other places as well, not with my name, but with others. I don't
know
exactly
okay.
where though. So maybe just find all and check that.
There you go.
Thank you.
Okay, do I have a motion to approve the minutes from August 20th?
I'll move.
Abby? Okay, great. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thanks, Gabby. All right. So, do we have any communication from the audience?
We have to approve them.
Oh, so sorry. Thank you, Karen.
You're welcome.
Awesome. All those in favor of approving the minutes from August 2020?
Aye.
Aye.
Awesome. And like sign, or all opposed? Like sign? Okay. Great. Sorry. Now we are moving on from communication from the audience. Do we have any, Justin?
There is nobody in the audience at this point. I also do need to interrupt briefly and say that Zoom globally is experiencing an issue with captioning. And so the captionings are not coming through. I do have a workaround. I will need to share a different screen that shows the captioning as opposed to having it show on the bottom of your screen. And so I will not be able to share the agenda.
Okay. I should have printed that out. Let's see. Oop, heck.
So I have a question for Justin.
Yes.
Justin, is workaround going to be the most overused word in 2020?
I think that is probably accurate.
Pivot.
Pivot. Yeah, that's another big.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, wow. Let's see. Okay, sorry, everybody. I'm trying to get the agenda back up and I'm having issues. Why did that just happen?
Justin, should I screen share mine? Or is this the only screen share we can do?
I've never tried to do double screen share. You can try it.
Okay, let me pull it up online and see what I can do.
I lost all of you. Does anybody, do you guys see yourselves up here?
I see you,
I
Wendy.
can only see you, Wendy.
Oh, God, that's awful. I'm sorry.
No, that's good. You're the chair.
I can see everyone,
Wendy,
but I
I
have a
think
giant
you-
screen.
Oh, there's
Maybe you might have your Zoom settings on gallery view or on speaker view. If you change it to gallery view,
Gallery
that
view,
thumbnail will
okay.
show up on the
I
side of your
lost you
screen.
all together. I think I just had the captioning going for a second, but I feel like I've now like narrowed it down. Okay. I apologize. Okay, so we had no communication from the audience. Do we have any written communication?
No, we don't.
No written communication. Okay, reports. Chairperson, so I am standing in for Laura today. And the only thing that I wanted to bring up was I mentioned prior to a couple of people prior to the meeting, I met with a woman named Carolyn White, and she has, she wanted to bring up a couple of things that she would love to see the Arts Commission do. So I, being on the newer side of things, I wasn't quite aware of the history of A to Z, but she would love to see the crack art concept come to fruition in the city again. She loved the idea of having surprises around the corner, and again, it didn't seem to have, to her way of thinking, it wasn't going to take that much of a budget to make that happen. She also really would love to see a walking tour of the artwork in the city. And I know Laura had talked about that at one point as well. So, maybe that's something that we could put on a future to-do list, a brainstorming idea. Her two ideas for something like that, two places that she would love to see more artwork was Albert White Park and Harrison Meadows. She would love to see poems in stone. That was another thing, to have poems carved into stone. She thought that would be a neat idea. And she loved Michigan Legacy Art Park. I don't know if you've all been there, but that is super cool place, and she would love to see that in Lansing. So that was all I had to share as far as my report. Council liaison. Do we have anything to share, Jesse?
No, nothing going on. Everything's fine at council level. Just kidding. It's unfair.
All piece cake.
Let's see. So what is happening that might be art related? Gosh, okay. Well, there's a lot of stuff that's happening that's not art related. So I guess we can kind of decide on your level of interest in knowing what's going on with that.
Sure.
We officially got our request from the Newman Lofts side of the city center development to remove the 55 and up age restriction from their property. To which I say, if it is now two distinct developments, one half of which is working and the other half is not, then you owe me an extra $25,000 for percent for art, but we haven't gotten there quite yet. But if they've decided it's now two different things, then that's my argument. But so that's going to be interesting, not particularly art adjacent, but interesting at least. And then just community development wise, we're getting much closer to hiring our new police chief. I just sat in on police chief interviews all afternoon. We have some good, strong candidates. So I'm not sure who Mr. Lahanis will eventually decide on, but I believe that we will have a very good, strong police chief sometime in the future. So that's exciting.
Do you have any idea when that would happen?
I'm not sure exactly what his timeline is for making his decision, but the interview process was a multi-day process. So they did a community panel yesterday. And then today they did separate interviews with our acting chief and our highest ranking captain and two council members. That was myself and Ron Bacon, and then also representatives from the police union. So that was, I mean, it was a pretty intensive interview process. There's 4 individuals that we all talked to. And then I imagine George will be making his decision fairly soon. And then I don't know how long it will take to get a contract in place and have that person actually resume their duties. But we're definitely on the tail end of that process. So I would say sooner rather than later.
Wow.
I try to think if there's anything else. I mean, well, obviously the COVID response is probably about 80% of what we're dealing with on council right now. So, you know, I think you saw the escalating level of containment that has been imposed by the Ingham County Health Department. So we started out with kind of a guideline towards appropriate behavior, which was broadly ignored. And then that became a suggested quarantine of any MSU student. And now that has become a mandatory quarantine of 30 large occupancy rental houses. So there's 20 fraternities, or the 10 fraternities, 14 sororities, and then assorted other large occupancy houses that have been under a mandatory 2-week quarantine. So that means no one in or out, and everything, you know, in terms of household goods should be delivered, which is pretty serious, I would say. We got the notice on the same day that that went into effect. Then the Big Ten Conference voted to have an abbreviated 8-game football season, which was somewhat dismaying to those of us who were not part of that conversation. So that is happening, and I guess that's going to be part of we're going to have to, you know, develop a specific management strategy in regards to celebratory sporting events. Obviously, there will not be any tailgating. There's not really going to be any physical attendance of those games, but they will be broadcast, and we know that our community enjoys celebrating those events, and everybody's probably starved for some celebration, so that could cause problems for us. I think, yeah, COVID's about 90% of what we're dealing with right now. Does anybody have any questions for me about stuff that you're interested in that I didn't touch on?
No?
Sounds like not.
Um,
You guys, I just, while I've got the floor, I wanted to say in terms of the walking tour, that's something that I've wanted to see as well. And I think we don't have to get complicated with it. I think we could do it as a, you know, I think we could get as complicated as we want, but I think we could start in a relatively hands-off, self-guided format.
Okay.
My thought was to do just a slideshow on our website. So you would have one webpage that was essentially a walking tour of downtown art. There would be a little map icon with, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Sure.
And then you would just swipe slide to slide. And then, you know, as you got to each artwork, there would be some small amount of didactic information that would give you an idea of what you were looking at. I don't think it would take a huge amount of time or effort to do that. And we could kind of see if people, you know, engage with it. So
does the city at this point have a comprehensive list of all the artwork that lies within the footprint of the city, I would assume?
We have lists
Map.
in plural. They're
Okay.
and one thing that Wendy and I have been talking about is making a public art fund paid for list also.
Okay.
There's a brochure of public art, but that hasn't been updated since the Percent for Art started. So
okay.
there's a lot of art not on there.
Sure. The one thing that Carolyn White also suggested, she said MSU has an archaeological app because evidently there's some sort of, does anybody know about that? I do not. I have not taken the time to look that up yet. But she thought we could model the walking tour, you know, on this MSU archaeological app. Like, again, you're going to hit certain spots and you download the app on your phone and off you go. So something we could consider, but all right. And, you know, maybe we start off simple and then we build with the walking tour.
Yeah, my thought was use our resources that we already have instead of trying to have something specifically programmed for us, and then kind of just see if there's interest and engagement in it. And that would give us an idea of how to prioritize something that was complicated.
Yeah. Okay. Anybody have anything else for Jesse?
Thank you, Jesse.
Yeah, thank you.
Anytime. You guys all know how to get a hold of me. So if you have anything come up, just give me a holler. I'm gonna mute my microphone and I'm gonna be puttering around the store, but I'll be listening and I might jump back in when you guys are talking about the greetings. Actually, I'll jump back in. There's a few things on the agenda that I'm interested in, but I'll be kind of hovering.
In and out. Okay, perfect.
Okay.
All right.
That's good.
Thank you again. Commissioner reports. Do we have any reports from commissioners? Karen?
Oh, I was waving at my
can't see
husband
you.
coming in.
Oops, sorry. I apologize. Commissioner reports, Karen, I could see you raised your hand.
Oh, I was waving at my husband who was coming in.
I
Sorry.
apologize. sorry. But with the screen sharing, I'm not able to see everybody. Does anybody else see anybody with their hand up that I'm missing?
I can only see the person who's talking. I don't know why that is.
Check your view. Again, maybe you have speaker view or something as opposed to gallery view. But no, nobody has any commissioner reports then? Okay, if not, we'll keep moving on and we'll go to staff reports.
Yes,
All right, that's you.
Yeah, I have a few things to share with everyone. First, I wanted to let you know that I have not forgotten about updating a budget, the developer progress, and the attendance sheet for everyone. Wendy would typically share that during the staff report. I'm going to work on that and have that for you next month.
Perfect.
I let it go by the wayside, but I think I have time now to update it. I had expected a couple ordinance 1339 applications today, but I have different news for you on both of them. The first one is MSU FCU. It looks like they will actually be doing a donation as opposed to art. Initially, we had several conversations with them. It looked like they were going to go with art. The wall that they were planning on putting it on is a wall that a building could be built right next to it, and they don't want it to be blocked. So they're thinking about donating instead. That could still change. It's not final yet, but we're thinking they'll probably do the 25,000. The other one is the provisional living that we talked about last month. They were approved in November for a sculpture, pending our approval of the actual sculpture at a later meeting. And then last month they came back and said, well, can we do art in the lobby instead? And when I went back to them and asked them how public the lobby would be, they quickly backpedaled and said, oh, no, we're going to do the sculpture. So we'll see you later on the sculpture. So we'll see them again, but they're sticking with their original proposal.
Okay, so the ball is in their court. We don't need to do anything. Okay.
Correct. Yep. And then the greetings easement for the Roadhouse Pub was approved at the September 8th City Council meeting. So we're actually talking about that later in this agenda, and I'll be walking you through it. I had originally said that the artists Victor and Lisa would be on the call today, but it turns out they're actually currently in flight to their next install in Kentucky. So I'll be walking us through that instead. And then the Hannah Community Center is opening on September 21st. The latest executive order allows for it. So we've taken a few weeks to get our heads around what that looks like safely. And then the pool will actually open the following Monday on September 28th. And then the last thing is the Art Fest Call to Artists is live now. We released that on Monday this week. So
have you had any response yet?
Yeah, we've had 11 applications, actually 12 applications.
Hey,
so,
there you go.
And 2 of them were artists that I didn't recognize from last year, but the other ones were returning artists. And we had guaranteed them a spot if they applied. So, yeah, that'll be interesting. And then and we're talking about what this next festival looks like. And I'm sure I'll talk to you all more about that later on, but it's definitely going to be a combination of virtual and live. So
Okay.
that much is for sure. And those are all my updates today.
Great.
Any questions for me?
Just FYI, it looks like the captioning API is back working, so I'm going to take that off of the screen share and it'll be at the bottom of your screen again.
Great. Okay.
Thank you, Justin. Can you reshare the agenda then? Thank you.
Let's see. Okay, so where are we? We are now to committee reports, and my understanding is there are no committee reports. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. Moving right along, we are to business items. Bailey update / history. Back to you, Heather.
Yes. So the Bailey update, a little bring you up to speed, Matt. Last month, the commission was presented with the fee structure and the contract with Bailey, and it is attached in the agenda item report too. And they're asking for the commission's okay to move forward with that. It was something that was actually left in city's court. So Wendy and I had let the contract go a little bit. They'd already signed it and they were waiting for our response on that. And we need the commission to approve the application and the fee structure in order to sign that. And it would be signed by the chair or acting chair. So Wendy would be the one signing it today. And then the commission had asked to update the contract with a fee structure that allowed for city residents to also pay the $20 for after hours, so after 5 o'clock. And it allowed for city residents to also pay an entry fee. The commission felt that not allowing that or forbidding East Lansing residents to pay that fee was kind of hurting artists from renting it because they wouldn't be able to recoup their costs. So I did make those updates and you'll see them in the contract that is attached. And there is also a suggested motion in the memo as well.
Yes. Okay. So do we need to have discussion before I read the suggested motion or ask if do we have anybody that has anything to add about the?
I think you could do somebody could motion to approve the motion, read that, then a second, and then you would say discussion after that.
Okay, so the suggested motion is to approve the chairperson scales, in this case, Wendy Sylvester Rowan, to sign the agreement with Capital Area Housing Partnership for the Bailey Community Center Gymnasium to be used in fulfillment of the CAHP Ordinance 1339 requirements.
So moved.
Great. Read a second.
I'll second.
And now discussion, Heather?
Yes. Yep.
Anybody have anything?
I just, I guess, like clarification. I remember in our last meeting, we said in regards to removing the restriction on East Lansing residents paying an admission fee, that we had to check to see if that was in line with the ordinance. And I couldn't really tell from the update if that had been sorted out or if we're just.
I checked with the city attorney and he said that that was fine.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Heather.
Okay. So all those in favor of this motion to sign the agreement with the Bailey Center. All those in favor, say aye.
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 All those opposed, they like sign.
Chairman, say aye.
Okay, I think we're good.
Jane just texted me if when you say that you make a motion or second, if you could also say your name. She's
Oh.
trying to take
Oh,
them.
okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, Jane.
Sorry, Jane.
Abby Tykaki moved that.
And
Well,
Karen
I'm looking at the screen, but sometimes I'm typing and I go, oh, I missed
I
it.
missed who said it, right?
Yeah.
All right. Justin, is it possible to go back to our agenda? Oh, thank you.
There it is.
Perfect. Okay, so moving along, now we go to Pincanna, our competition. Hi, Megan. Welcome.
Hi there. Oh.
Hi.
Hi, Megan.
Hello, everybody.
And Matt. Hi, Matt.
Yeah, we didn't get to say hi, Matt.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was tardy, so.
Okay, so Pincanna, Heather, do you want to
Yes.
slow down on that?
Yes. So Pincanna is having this art competition for a sculpture in the front of their yard. And there's two things. Can you click the agenda item report for me, Justin? Thank you. So there's two things that they want from the commission, and they are not on the call today. They want to know first if someone from the commission would like to help them on their selection committee. They think that that would be 2 Zoom meetings, no more than 2 Zoom meetings. And that person would help them to review and select the winner. The other thing that they want to know is if the commission would like to be kind of a sponsor. There's no financial implications, but like basically just have your logo on their flyer to add credibility to the contest. Both of those things are definitely up to your discretion. Or as the committee member, you would be representing yourself, not necessarily the commission, unless the commission decided to send you as a liaison.
Can I interrupt?
Yes.
I'm just wondering, doesn't the meeting start at 5:30? Did I miss something?
Started
It
at
starts
5
at
today.
5.
Oh, I was still at work at 5 o'clock. I am so sorry, everybody.
No, it had to start early today because we have to be off by 7 because there's another meeting
I
after
do
that.
remember that. Okay, sorry about that.
You're not crazy. It's a diversion
Okay.
from the norm. So what does anybody, on that note, does anybody feel as if they would like to be is the word we're using a liaison with, or the point person for the Pincanna?
Yeah,
Art
you could be an
contest?
art commission liaison, or you could just choose to be on their selection committee. It's an unconventional request for the commission, which is why it's hard to spit out. But
I was wondering if anybody had any feelings as to whether or not, like, as to the appropriateness of arts commissioners and the commission being involved in this way.
I for some reason I'm a little nervous about the precedent it sets, but that being said, I don't have enough history to know whether or not that's a valid concern. Maybe somebody else could speak to that, but I don't know. Is it a slippery slope, or does it? What can anybody else who's been on the commission a while? Can they speak to that?
I don't know. Honestly, I don't think it, I don't mean, with regard to the concern for the precedent, I mean, from a historical perspective, I think it's indicative of, you know, community stewardship, and it's the sort of thing that one might expect from somebody who wants to be engaged with the Arts Commission. So I think from a precedent perspective, I'm not too worried about it. I mean, some
Okay.
of the things that have gone on, I think that's a pretty righteous step in a good direction.
Okay.
So that's just, so yeah, I don't see any problem with that. It's you know, I don't, it doesn't feel like, it doesn't, I'm trying to think back, like it doesn't feel like that, to me it doesn't feel, I have a vague recollection. Things were a little less when I mean, I was looking at this like 6 years ago when I first started. Things were a little less formal, and there were kind of, which could also be a reason why not a lot got done. Things seemed to be a little less formal like this, where stuff would go and people would be volunteering with things, and it wasn't necessarily representative of East Lansing, like representative of like the council, but or the commission, but it wasn't. Yeah, it just wasn't really a big deal.
Okay.
Thinking
Okay.
of this kind of busking thing that I worked with, that I say Michael Teeger, who was a commissioner, was my friend, and I worked on. I don't even know if he was a commissioner then at that point. Worked on with is it Amy Van Antwerp? I can't remember her, like the from a million years ago, who was East Lansing employee, and I think it's all a blur. But we were doing this busking thing that was going to be somewhat organized, but it wasn't official, and it wasn't an Arts Commission thing, and it was, you know, yeah, it had a lot of moving parts and didn't quite work out. But we definitely had maybe a half dozen meetings about doing it. Again, it wasn't representing a business, but it was working with businesses, and then part of the problem became blah blah. Like with the DDA, they had issues with it anyways. Long story longer, so I'll put a pin in it there. But yeah, it doesn't feel like that. I don't have any problem with it. I don't want to participate. I don't want to volunteer, but
Okay, yeah, I was gonna say, and on that note, you want to throw your name in that?
I would like
Your
to,
hat in the ring?
I would like to sort of amplify what Matt said about essentially being a good corporate citizen, you know, that a business installing art is not required to or expected to engage the Arts Commission, but I think it's commendable that they thought to reach out to us.
Absolutely. Right,
And,
right.
I do like that. I just wondered if there were any red flags that I'm not seeing because of how new I am to the commission.
Well,
Heather,
should
how do
we
we-
ask if anybody even wants to volunteer? I know I do not. So that would settle the issue right there if nobody wants to volunteer, but maybe we could send them a very gracious note saying, thank you for asking. We really appreciate all the outreach you've done to us. And, but at this time we have nobody who's available for the panel.
Oh, I'd be happy to volunteer.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, look at
Thank you,
that. Go
Yay.
Abby. Nice.
Awesome. So then on that note, do we want to send Abby as a liaison from the Arts Commission, or this is her choice to do what she
Right.
wants on her own time
Personal.
kind of thing?
Well, I think from the standpoint, like when we get a little honked off when one part of the city does an art thing and doesn't include us, that to say that someone as a member of the Arts Commission is joining the panel, I think that's a good connect.
Okay.
I mean,
So
that's my opinion.
And from where I am as the volunteer, I'm happy to serve in either capacity. Doesn't matter to me.
Okay.
then the next question is it okay for them to use the Arts Commission name to give the contest some credibility then?
I think if I am going as a liaison to the Arts Commission, that would only be fair. And if I am just a volunteer who happens to be on the Arts Commission, then perhaps we don't want to directly tie the Arts Commission or the city logo to anything.
I think their goals involve that connection. So without it, I don't know that we're really serving their purpose. So I think I would motion to let them use our name.
Hi, Tetta.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm so sorry I'm late, guys.
It's all good.
So
Okay,
you guys,
so
so Wendy, I have another question then. So in going on with that thought, then does this piece of art become, I mean, it's theirs, but do we include it in the public art tour of the city?
good question. I suppose we could certainly ask, right? Why would they be opposed to that? It would just mean more foot traffic to their, place of
Right.
business.
Yeah.
But certainly worth an ask.
And Abby, I guess I would say as you serve on this panel, and I'm trying to I know they sent the agreement along. I just want to make sure by putting our name on it, we're in no way responsible for any maintenance or anything else that happens to it down the road.
Right.
Good point.
I can have our city manager look it over, or city attorney look it over really quick this next week. Yeah.
Okay.
There is a motion on the floor though.
That's what I was just gonna say.
Yeah. Okay.
And so what is the exact motion that we are floating at the moment, Heather?
Tetta made it. I didn't write it down.
Oh yeah. Okay. So Tetta,
I guess I was just moving to allow them to use our name,
Our name.
so that they can get I think they're looking for legitimacy or some sort of support.
validity. Yeah.
Yeah, validity. Yeah. So I guess I'm moving to allow, I'm not going to
Pincanna.
pronounce that word, Pincanna, to use our name for their Pincanna art competition.
Perfect.
And to
Okay,
have
we have a
Abby as our
second.
liaison.
Oh, and yes, does that have to be part of the motion that Abby is?
I think it makes sense to get it in the minutes,
Liaison.
don't you?
Okay.
It does say in this agenda item, and that's going on the record, that there are no financial implications. So I think we're
Okay.
spared as far as the, Heather, if you want to spare the city attorney a couple of
One more
minutes.
look. Yeah.
I think that's really clear. I think they crossed their T's and dotted their I's here. They just want some support.
Okay.
Okay. Do we have a second?
Second,
Okay. I think I'm not sure who got that in there first, either Karen or Austin.
I heard Austin first.
Austin have it. Let Austin have it.
Awesome. Okay. And all those in favor, say aye.
Hi.
Aye.
All those opposed, like sign. Okie doke. Moving right along.
Thank you, Abby, for stepping up to that.
Yeah, that's great.
Yes.
Thank you, Abby.
You're welcome.
Okay, we are 5:40, Heather. I think we're doing well. Heather and I were hoping that by the time we hit, well, we might be right on schedule, actually. Our next point is discussion item. Yvette Robinson from the Hannah Community Center Art Gallery is going to speak with us. And is she here, Justin?
Yes, Yvette, you've just been permitted to talk, and if you will just need to unmute your phone. Dial *6 to unmute. Once again, Yvette, you are permitted to speak to the commission at this time. You'll need to dial *6 to unmute your phone.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Hi,
How's
welcome.
everybody? I'm sorry. I was trying to get in. This is not my first Zoom meeting, but it was telling me that my email was not authorized to access the site.
Oh dear, I'm sorry. Well, welcome. Thank you for coming tonight.
Well, thank you. I wish I could have seen you guys. I put on some lipstick and everything. Silly me.
Well,
Okay,
that's
so
okay.
yeah. So any questions for me, or just to say hi? I wish I could see people because I haven't met a lot of the people.
Absolutely. Yeah,
people.
that's too bad that's not working. Heather, we were hoping to hear from Yvette just the history of the Hannah Community Center Art Gallery.
Yep. Yvette, if you wanted to, so Justin is screen sharing the art that you sent earlier today. If you want to maybe talk about, so you've been the director since 2002, and maybe tell us a little bit about how that came about and why you have so graciously been volunteering for us for so long.
So is this Heather?
Yes, this is Heather.
So Heather,
Sorry.
Did everybody get a copy of what I had written and provided to Heather?
We sure did. Yes, thank you.
Yeah, that pretty much tells the story about how it all started, because I was a commissioner just like you guys. And then, of course, you know how things go. So most of you, situation comes up and you're not kind of like nominated to do it, but they kind of come out and say, you're going to be doing such and such. So that's the way it used to be done. And what you do is you respect the person who's in charge and you just say, yes, I'm going to do it. And that's pretty much how it went. And contacted a lot of places around the state and across the nation and asked, well, what type of things do they do for their events and their galleries and different things like that. I did a lot of research. It took a couple years. And I just gathered some information, and I wanted people to have the same kind of experience they would have if they were a top-notch artist in the world and everybody knew who they were, and when they walked in the room, they treated them a certain way. So that, I got a lot of that from a lot of the places, and they were saying people have to study for many, many years, and they have to work with this particular artist to become famous. I'm thinking these people are famous in their own right. They need to be treated like that. And so that's pretty much how I came up with the idea of how to formulate the openings and how to treat the artists and make them feel like they were Hollywood stars. And each of them have had that experience. And that was most important to me because, you know, I'm an artist too, but a lot of artists do a lot of work, but they don't get the notoriety that they should get for all the work that they do. I mean, even though we know a lot of it is hands-on, some of them have experience, some of them have graduated college and made a career out of it, but then there's others who are incredibly talented and have never set foot in a classroom. It's just a God-given talent that they have. Sure. Well, should they be treated any different? No, they should be treated the same. So everybody coming in as an artist, an exhibiting artist, the whole process is explained to them the exact same way, and they know that everybody's going to be treated that way. Whether you are famous and you've got 1,000 degrees, or if you have just been studying and learning and doing things in your closet and your friends are saying, you know, you really should do something with that. You are so good, you know. And then they'll come and talk to me, and I chat with the artist and get them to apply. And they are incredible, and they do very well in the gallery. So that's pretty much how
that
process works.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Could you tell us how do you find the artists that you end up exhibiting?
Well, that's a very good question. The first year, I was seeking out the artists. The second year, and up to this day, they find me.
Do they? Right. Okay.
Yes, I think it's because of how they are treated and how they are respected, because I think that's a very key issue when you're speaking and communicating with artists. And many artists have told me, they call me a gallerist. sometimes, you know. And I say, you know, I've never heard that term before, but I'll take it. Or, you know, and they say, you know, a lot of places we go to, they don't treat us like that. We come to set up and they'll just say, oh, this is your space. Okay, I'll be in the other room. You know, that kind of thing. It's like they don't share with you how to set it up or how to use their system. Everything has to be figured out. Sometimes the artists are there for hours trying to figure out how to set things up. Many of them don't have the kind of experience to have that eye to see that. So I work very close with them from beginning to end. From the moment they contact me, they can call me any time of day or night. They are my family, you know, and that's how we communicate and we share and we grow. And I tell them all the time how much I learn from them. I make them feel like they are the most precious things on the earth. And that's a good thing. That's a good thing.
Absolutely.
Because that's important.
Yvette, this is Megan Holland, and I just want to
Hey, Megan.
Hi, I just want to thank you for, you know, keeping that space alive for artists, because, and that's one thing I love about East Lansing. We have this gallery that is a space for artists who are just dying for places to show. So when Wendy asked that question, I had to chuckle, being a former gallery person too. Believe me, artists seek you out. If you have, you know, if your gallery has credibility, and the East Lansing one certainly has credibility. And now with Bailey, you know, really opening up to musicians, there's now a space in East Lansing for music and theater or whatever.
Oh, really?
Right.
Oh, is that true?
Yep.
I better get over there. I better get over to Bailey.
Approved that. But anyways, the cool thing is that spaces are needed for artists of all types. So thank you, Yvette.
Right. Oh, you're welcome. And we're trying to get you to get involved too, Miss Megan, because, you know, we've been waiting for you for a long, long time, but you're just so busy and caught up into so many different things. You've got to make time to do a show over there at the gallery.
Oh, well, yeah, we'll see about that. So I'm not an artist by any means, but thank you.
Hi, Ms. Robinson. My name is Abby Taikaki. I'm a current commissioner, and I just
Hi, Abby. Abby. I'm Yvette.
Nice to meet you, Yvette. I wanted to say that I really enjoyed reading what you wrote, and it's clear that you are of a huge asset to the city in building relationships with these artists and building the city's credibility as a city for the arts. I also chuckled when I saw that it was former Arts Commission Chairperson Michael Sunderman that appointed you. He's my backyard neighbor. I'm looking at his house right now out my window. So small world.
How big is Evan right now, his little boy?
Oh my gosh, getting taller by the day.
I mean, is he like 10 years old now?
Older than that. I'm not sure. High school, right?
Really?
Is Evan the one on the football team? Anyway, they're wonderful. They're all fabulous.
Yeah, he's a good guy. I like Michael. He's very nice.
He's a great neighbor too.
Very good. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right. Does anybody else have any questions for Yvette Robinson?
Well, it's Karen Jennings, Yvette, and I would just like to say.
Oh my gosh, it's Karen Jennings. Hey, Karen.
Hi.
How are you? You are the most awesome. You are so awesome. I just have to say, Karen, you are the one who has stood behind us through thick and thin. You show up to the art gallery exhibit openings. You and your husband, you are just so devoted and so supportive. I just want to say thank you so much for just coming through and just presenting before the crowds that came out to these openings. You and your husband are just awesome. I just want to say thank you so much.
Well, you're welcome. But I want to thank you. And I want to urge all the commissioners, once we get out of quarantine and staying home and everything, and we're going back to galleries, the shows are fabulous. The openings are fabulous too, because many of these artists are not professional artists, but many of them, for their openings, bring a wonderful crowd of people. And it's just really, really wonderful to see their family and friends and community come out to support them on the opening Sunday. So once we're able to start doing that again, I really urge all of you to put it on your calendar and, you know, every month that there is an opening to try to come out and see it. Cause it really, it adds another dimension to the show for sure.
Yeah, and they can do, you know, if they have some kind of a talent, some of them play instruments, some of them sing, whatever kind of talent they have, I tell them, this is your day, this is your show. If there's something you'd like to do special, feel free to do that. We've had people do ballroom dance. We've had people to sing, play guitar, play the harp. I mean, all kinds of things. It's just a wonderful, and you know, we're not asking you guys to come every single month, but at least show up one time, because we acknowledge you when you show up, and we want you to come up and have words and just talk about art in our community. And so I always have to recognize you guys, because it's so important to see, for the visiting guests to see the Arts Commission show up in support of the art gallery. That's really, really special for us. Whenever that happens, that even makes the artists feel even more special, that somebody, and people from City Council, they have showed up and they have purchased art, you know, so it's just a wonderful opportunity all the way around. And I know that I had not gotten that support these last 5 or 6 years when the person congratulations on your pregnancy too. I just wanted to say that. Yeah. Okay. Laura, is Laura there?
Actually, Laura had her baby, so Laura is.
Oh, she did.
She is home with.
When
her
did she
baby.
have the baby?
Gosh.
When did she have it?
Maybe 3-4 days ago.
Last week.
Oh, well,
yeah.
Oh, wow. So she's not even there. Well, congratulations on the new baby then.
There you go.
So
It's a beautiful name,
yeah,
Cecily.
she named her Sesame?
It's Cecily. Isn't that pretty?
Oh, Cecily. Oh, how cute.
Isn't it?
That is cute. Well, I know that you guys are limited. You know, I've been there, done that, working at with the Arts Commission and everything, but just a couple things that I'd like to ask or request, and that we get back to doing. Again, I do recall from the inception of the gallery that the city was providing us with some funding each year. That stopped after the last chairperson that you had was in there for like 5 or 6 years. And there was never a communication with us in regard to the public art gallery. And I've sent numerous emails and left messages on the phone and never got back, never showed up to any of our events. So I'm just hoping that we can get back to the funding portion, because each year there was a small portion that they would provide for art gallery business. That way, if we wanted to upgrade or do something new or add this or that, we would have enough funds to be able to do that. Right now, all we have coming in is the application fee and any percentage, 25% of anything that anybody sells in the gallery. And see, that's not a lot to do a lot with, you know. So hopefully we can get back to that fact. I haven't seen anything on the record. Plus, there should be a report that's provided to me every 3 months. Now, that right there went lacking big time. I know I could easily go and get the information from City Hall, but, you know, you want to respect everybody who's responsible for providing certain information. So I'd like to get back to making sure that we get our reports every 3 months.
Are you?
We literally. So
Yvette?
yeah, so I hear you. That's interesting. So having been on the commission for the last 6 years, you're absolutely right. I mean, there was never any talk about a report.
Right.
There was never any talk about the gallery in Hannah.
It was on the agenda, but it was never discussed.
Yeah, no, I can definitely attest to that. So for what it's worth,
Yeah.
I don't know why that fell to the wayside. Weird.
Yeah. No communication. It was totally just none. I know that you guys get your emails. I know how to get in touch with you guys. I used to be a commissioner. You know, I live here in East Lansing, but she never responded back. I think over time, it was very clear that she was not going to be partaker or participant of anything that we were doing over at the gallery. So,
I have a question.
the gallery evolved from, pardon me?
I have a question about how, so they just, they set aside some funds, or were they part of the grant? Was the Hannah Gallery part of the grants process? How is it?
Well, now you gotta kind of ask. It's been a while, so you have to ask. Wendy would know. Is Wendy there?
No, Wendy's not on today.
We never discussed it. I mean, we literally never discussed it.
I know you did. I know. It stopped. It stopped when she came aboard.
Meeting.
Well, I was
I know.
One idea is to come to the, or I mean, it's a little more work for you, but like apply for a grant. You know,
who am I speaking to now?
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Tetta Hughes. I'm so sorry.
Oh, okay.
So one.
Well, no, I never had to apply for a grant. No, this all came out of the city budget. George would know because George was handling that. Before George, there was Ted Staten, who I think he passed away. But George would know exactly what I'm talking about.
Well, whatever the process was, I'd love to revisit. I don't see why not. I mean, it's public art, you know.
Well, a lot of things got lost, Hedda, back when the other individual came on board. And, you know, her husband was, I think, mayor for one term. And then everything just kind of went topsy-turvy.
Okay.
And I guess you guys know the rest from there.
Understood. Yes.
I'm not gonna visit that.
Understood. Okay. Well, I think that is something that we should revisit, because if I'm not necessarily saying, you know, green light or anything like that. I just don't know why we wouldn't look into that. That's so.
Well, it's not you guys. It's not you guys now. It was the person before you, and that's what I'm saying. They kind of pretty much stopped having any kind of. I mean, it was always on the agenda, because periodically I take a look at the agenda to see what was on the agenda. It's there, but it's never discussed. The gallery was never discussed. Public art gallery, it's there, but she just would not return any calls. I said, well, let me come to one of the meetings and just chat and be a visitor, you know, or it never respond. Never. Never respond.
We're getting way off track here. I think.
Okay, we gotta go.
Yeah, let's.
We'll
try to
circle
move
back.
forward.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, it's time to go. That's all I wanted to say.
Yvette, before you sign off, this is Councilmember
Pardon me?
Gregg. This is Mayor Pro Tem Gregg. I've been listening in the background, but
oh, hey, how are you?
Do you want to just email me directly and you and I can talk about the council side of this?
Yes.
You can, it's jgregg@cityofeastlansing, or my phone number's on the website.
Oh, I got it.
Yeah.
I got you, girl. I got you in my back pocket. Got you in my back pocket.
Perfect. Yeah, you and I can set up a meeting and talk directly about the council side of things, and and then the Arts Commission can take their
about the city council. You said about the city council side of things.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Sure. Okay. That sounds like a winner. I so wish I could meet with you though.
Well, you know, I mean, just call me. We'll set up something.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Mrs. Robinson, for coming. We really appreciate all of your
info. Yvette. My name is Yvette.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right.
You're making me feel like an old woman.
Oh, sorry.
Right.
Not intended.
Okay. Thank you guys so much. Have a good day.
Take care. Thank you.
Bye.
All right, everybody. Our next item on the agenda is temporary art installations. And I believe we have another person joining us. Justin, is that correct?
Yes, Adam Cummins is joining right now.
Great.
Hey, everybody.
Hi.
How's it going?
Very well, thank you.
Yeah, so I just wanted to, number one, say thank you for the opportunity to discuss these temporary art installations. Heather, do we have the PowerPoint available? Is that? I know I got it too late. I don't know if it was able to get on the agenda.
Do you have that? Yes.
Okay,
Thank you.
If we could go to the next slide, please. So, as you know, we're in a difficult situation.
Wait, Adam, who are you?
I'm very sorry, guys. It's been an extremely long day. Still in the office, as you can see. I'm Adam Cummins. I'm the Community and Economic Development Administrator. I started with the city on June 8th. Moved to Michigan about 2 years ago, so I'm still getting acquainted with everything and the lay of the land. I actually moved here 2 years ago to work with MEDC and made the transition here with the city. Been loving it ever since.
All right.
So that being said, you know, we have a lot of challenges we're addressing. We're trying to balance the, keeping the local economy open, keeping our businesses open with protecting human health. And so a lot of the programming we're developing in response to this, our strategy just focus on those two things, with public health being number one. I don't want to, implement any programming that may compromise public health. So if we can check number one off the list, then I feel like we're going to be more successful in keeping our local economy open by keeping people safe. And what you're seeing here is just a list of various programs we've implemented so far since COVID. Obviously, there's a lot of moving parts. Things are moving quickly. The third to last item on the list are those temporary art installations in downtown. The original concept was, if you recall, the open air dining area. I was trying to create a more vibrant space, a space you want to spend time in. The idea was, if you recall the barricades that were bright orange, we wanted to get some art on those. We wanted chalk artists to come in. Anyway, we encountered some barriers, and one of the art installations got moved to Valley Court, which I'm sure you guys are aware of. And it came to my attention that I skipped a few steps in that. And so please forgive me, I was new and just learning. And so if you go to the next slide, please. I'm here to talk to you about some plans that we have moving forward. We're trying to create a space, an outdoor space that's spacious, right? We're not necessarily trying to draw a large crowd, we don't want to have a big event, but we want to create spaces in the public spaces downtown that people can get outside and enjoy during this time. We've been cramped up for a few months now. And so, as you can see, number one on our list is protecting public health and safety. And so you're just seeing some of the behaviors that we're going to reinforce through how we're going to design and build these little pocket parks, if you will, parklets. We're considering blocking some alleys down, some streets, moving into the parking garages because winter's coming, right? If you go to the next slide, please. And so we check number one off the list, creating that safer environment, right? Where people can social distance, there's mask requirements, hygiene stations. But now we want to add to the vibrancy, right? We don't want to just create that safe environment, but a space where people want to spend time in. And, one of the primary strategies, in my opinion at least, to do that is to provide, art installations, public art, that are going to engage people, keep them stimulated, and really create that vibrant place. And what you're seeing here is an example of a concept we're considering, in these parklets, these open air dining areas. Under the dining section, you can see the partition, that divider, where there's a mural. And this is just one concept, and I'm just trying to articulate, what's in my head, because sometimes I've been told I sometimes have a difficult time doing that. But we want to get art in here. We want people to enjoy this space. Not if you recall the open air dining, there was the metal picnic tables, right? And then the construction barriers. Is a great program. I feel like it provided a lot of benefit. And when we learned from that, we got feedback, and a lot of the feedback was spruce up the area. Let's get some art. I'm like, yes, definitely. That was the plan. Yeah. And so if you can go to the next slide, please. I believe. Yeah. Here are the concepts. You know, this downtown pedestrian path or loop. It's not going to be a perfect path, but trying to create these public spaces, activate them, and enhance them throughout downtown. That's going to add to the foot traffic for the downtown businesses. Give them more visibility during a time where it's really, we've all moved to digital, right? And the other concepts, parklets, open air dining, but these winter markets, retail hubs, these sheds, if you will. You know, got some feedback the other night from council. You know, the original concept is brick and mortar can move. It's an extension of our brick and mortar, which we're going to continue that with that. But also some of the feedback was, well, what about some artists, some crafts? And so we're also going to create some spaces for artists to come in these sheds or igloos, whatever people are calling them. And so I'm here today to ask, I'm not an expert in art. I enjoy it. It does stimulate me. It does draw. I get drawn to art, but I need your help. Where things are moving fast, our business owners are, you know, they're struggling. And so if you guys could offer any help to help us navigate on how to find these artists and what type of art we can use, it'd be greatly appreciated. And, you know, I'm not trying to put everyone on the spot, but if we could really use some of your expertise. And with that, I'll take any questions you may have.
Adam, 2 words, propane heaters.
Those are on the list, Megan.
All right.
They are on the list, yes. Yeah. Actually priced some out today, so yeah.
I think they're running about $400 to $600.
We've got to embrace winter, guys.
I know.
Yeah, you know, it's, yeah. So
and from what I'm hearing from people with experience in propane heaters, the kind that have the flame that go all the way up rather than at the top and shooting down, because heat rises, obviously.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
anyways, I heard from a restaurant expert about that. So
see,
that's
our
my bit of
you
advice.
guys are already helping me. Thank you, Megan. Appreciate that.
Adam, how many of these little parklets is the city considering?
Yeah, so that's what we're trying to work out right now. Obviously, it's going to come at a cost, and so we're trying to do this, you know, as efficiently and effectively as possible. Right now, after today, I sat down with Heather Pope and we kind of brainstormed some additional ideas. You know, the Jersey Mike alleyway, we want to enhance that. The Hamster Cage Garage, Division Street Garage, where that overhang is.
Yep.
Want to install some things in that area.
Oh, that'd be great.
Southeast side of the Marriott Hotel.
Okay.
There's a little, you know, elevated like balcony area.
Yeah.
The alley, Blue Owl alleyway.
Sure.
Yeah. Valley Court, and then we're looking at, you know, the main alleys that cross across the city. We're looking at how can we overcome some significant barriers with, you know, kind of making that a pedestrian-only place. Some of those alleyways, not all.
Okay.
And
And
then I don't know if I said it, but Valley Court as well.
okay.
So Adam, is there any talk about like flooding an ice skating rink again, something, you know, that would draw families out for an activity with kids?
That's a great recommendation. Yeah, and I've heard that suggested as well. And I just want to point out the intent of this is to draw the families, the residents, and these things. The students are coming. They're already coming downtown. But how can we make this an environment that's conducive, you know, to family friendly, and getting our East Lansing residents here and engaged with them downtown. But yeah, definitely going to continue to look into that. My understanding is that there was an ice rink maybe a couple years ago.
And then I think that the weather was like, it was mushy, I think, like the whole,
Karen,
yeah,
where
the
was
weather
that?
did not
In Valley
cooperate.
Grove? Or
Not a good first impression that winter, huh?
Yeah, so Amy Schlesler organized the ice rink for, I think, 3 years. The first year I messed it up. That's a secret. I was testing the ice and I went through, and then they had to wait and freeze it and whatever. But anyway, but part of the big issue was not just that it didn't freeze, but also that it had to be brushed off every day. So then we needed volunteers for that, but then no one was volunteering. And so Amy was out there every morning shoveling an entire ice rink, and it wasn't a good use of staff. So
yeah, and that's one of the big challenges, you know, we're trying to overcome now is the maintenance. Who's going to turn these heat lamps off at night, right? One concept is gating areas off with, you know, not just a metal fence gate, but some gate probably, hopefully with some art on it. So.
Yeah, could you speak more to, other than like panels between dividers, what?
Yeah,
looking for us for where to put the art, how to get the art, all of
I mean, these are all great questions that need to be answered. We're still hashing out the logistics of locations, right? But anywhere where we can put the art, right? Over the summer, my dream was to have, you know, the Albert Street just covered in art. You know, I at one point I was like, I want bubbles on the street, you know, COVID bubbles that were socially distanced, so that people, you know, just, and having that kind of messaging as well, that creativity of, hey, how can we get people to socially distance through art, right? So yeah, great question. I wish I could answer that with more specifics, but we'll get there soon, you know, as we get further along down this planning path.
The planning so far sounds great, and I love a winter market. They have a really lovely one in Chicago around the holiday season that I loved when I lived there. So that would definitely bring me downtown or to those areas that you mentioned specifically.
I'm glad to hear that.
And Adam, maybe I missed this, but is there any budget for artists, or are you hoping that it's going to be donated?
No, there's right now I don't have a specific budget, but I am budgeting for artists. Yeah, absolutely. Again, just trying to hash out, okay, what's the infrastructure going to cost? How much will the art, you know, just balancing all these moving parts. We're very early stages of this planning process. And I just want to get people engaged sooner than later.
Adam, it's Karen again. Maybe there would be a way to engage school kids too. I mean, everything from elementary to high school kids. I mean, I don't know if you guys go out to the MSU FCU every year to see the high school, the area high school art show, but there's just incredibly talented kids in this area.
I absolutely love that idea. And
yeah, a community art project would really be special.
Yeah.
Not a contest. Please don't make
the wheels are spinning. I like this a lot.
Yeah, I second no contest.
Don't do the contest thing. It just makes all the kids feel badly. That's all it does, is destroy brilliant artists because we don't have any taste to know that they're the brilliant ones.
Yeah, I think
I wasn't thinking contest. I was thinking just letting kids do it.
Oh yeah, totally,
like
totally.
Organizing it, yeah. Like the school's organizing options for kids to be able to participate.
Right.
Yeah.
Make sure the schools know it's not a contest, Adam. Please. That's what they turn everything into. They really do. Everything turns into a contest, and it just seems to defeat the artist. You know, it doesn't seem to be very artistic to do that. It's not about a contest. This isn't a math score. It's about, you know. So some of the ideas that other communities have done are walls that are painted with paint that can be written on with markers or chalk. Other things include, just like in Valley Court, they've got the stairs just simply painted in a rainbow. The surfaces can be painted with ideas that even come from the students or come from families, that, send in a postcard or send in whatever, and we can just, you can, what do you call that? Project images onto surfaces and, you know, and then they can change, or, you know, we can have simple graphic ideas. In Lansing, they did this very simple vector picture of celebrated figures through history. And it's eye-catching. It closed up these boarded up windows that they had on this old high school. And, you know, it turned out great. It wasn't it wasn't Picasso, but it was something that was artistic and eye-catching, and people went to visit it. So you don't want a crowd, like you said, but there's lots of different ways. And then if you want a list of muralists and artists who work on outdoor art, I'm sure that Reach can provide lots of names. There's a guy who did the entire mural project in Lansing, who I can get you in contact through Instagram. I'm not his intimate friend, but he participates in all of the above. And that's like this huge, like kind of hip hop driven breakdancing art graffiti thing.
Jose.
Yeah, Jose Moore.
Yeah,
Jose.
Jose. So,
But really, the Greater Lansing Arts Council is your best bet. They have a whole list of artists. So.
Yeah, and then and so here we have a small list, but we're gonna work on that.
All right.
But yeah, Reach Studio Art Center is gonna give you more of a family vibe. The Arts Council of Greater Lansing is great too, but they do those contests. So the artists that are usually the kid artists are usually in a competition setting when they submit stuff. So anyway.
Adam,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I can put you in touch with the art teachers from the middle school and the high school, East Lansing.
That'd be terrific. Thank you. Okay, so now I'll reach out to folks, connect with them, but I want to ensure that, you know, you guys are comfortable with the art that is coming down, right? And that it's actually, basically what I'm trying to say is, I still don't really know what I'm doing. I remember someone giving me a list back in June and making a phone call, an artist asking questions, and literally I kind of like freaked out. I was like, I don't know, I'll call you back, because I had no idea how to answer those questions. So
could there be an arts commissioner appointed as liaison to the planning of this project?
Oh, I would love that. Yeah, I think.
And then they could be responsible for reporting at the commission meetings every month.
Yeah, I would love that.
Well, Adam, is this through the downtown management, the DMB that Amy? Are you and Amy working on this together? Because I'm on the committee.
Yeah.
That I think is involved in that.
Yeah, so with the DMB, you know, authorized some monies to reach out to a marketing firm, a PR firm, who's going to help us promote this. Yeah, and then the DDA has been helping us, you know, with the infrastructure downtown.
Yeah, it was mentioned at our last, I'm on the business outreach committee for DMB. So I don't know if we're directly involved in it, but it was mentioned. So I just connected the two projects that you're talking about, the same project that was mentioned.
Yeah, they're all this is interconnected, definitely, for sure.
I definitely think that it is appropriate if you would like to select someone from the commission to kind of be the Adam liaison.
Don't all volunteer.
So Megan, are you already working with it? I mean, are you already there?
Well, I mean, we're on the business outreach committee, so I don't think we're directly involved in this project. If nobody else wants to do it, I'd be happy to. But if
Megan,
somebody else wants to,
Megan, you want to do it together?
Sure.
I can do it with you, you know, and maybe put our heads together.
Sure.
The other thing I wanted to ask though, Adam, is what is your timeline? You said you want to do it quickly, but.
Yeah, that's a great question. Like I said, we're very early stages of the planning process, but really going to be hitting the ground running, planning next week. And then as far as implementation, it's basically what things are moving fast. Like sometimes I'm like, oh, we've got 3 weeks. And then the next day it's like, oh, get that going. That
Yeah.
we're responding to things quickly, but I would like to get this on the ground in November before it gets too cold to get people a little.
Yeah, you got to lure people while it's not 20
Yeah.
below. because
Right, right.
Otherwise, people aren't going to know it's there,
Right.
So we got to get it going while the getting's good.
Yeah, I agree,
Yeah.
100%.
And Adam, before I fully volunteer, what is the specific ask again?
Just about 80 hours a week.
Give or take.
I really need help navigating all this. I'm learning still, right? So
Yeah.
I just need help navigating, finding the right art for that right space, and reaching out to artists and,
Yeah, and what worries me is I'm actually extremely involved in downtown Lansing's winter activation project.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if it would be good if I'm on both winter
little
activation.
conflict of
projects.
interest there.
Yeah, yeah, and that's a Main Street program, and if anybody's been involved in a Main Street program, you know how absolutely the commitment is.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it would be a good idea for me to be on this particular subcommittee. Sorry about that.
Oh, no worries. Fair enough. Fair enough. And,
No, I'm still happy to do it, but does anybody else want to join with me? Because I feel like I need somebody with experience like Megan that has a grasp of some of the, the inner workings.
Well, I'm always happy to consult. Obviously, I'm not a commissioner, but Adam knows how to find me.
Knows how to hunt you down.
And I'm here for specifics too, Wendy, so.
Okay.
Sounds
You
like
might
we have
want
a
to pick
team.
Megan's brain, Adam, if she's got all this inside information on Lansing. We can make that work for you.
Yeah, well, Megan, if you wouldn't mind me picking your brain though, right? And just kind of
not at all. Not at all. I'm always available. I just don't know how many hours I could put in when I'm doing it for Lansing. Yeah.
I hear you.
And like I said, things move just so fast, but I promise you, I'm not going to call you on a Thursday and say, hey, we need this tomorrow. I'm not going to put even an attempt to put anyone in that situation, but
need it by Saturday instead.
What's that?
You need it by Saturday instead.
Yeah, right. Need a Saturday, not Friday. No, as much heads up as possible. We'll just ensure that we continue to communicate. And then probably just, after our team kind of hashes out some more of these details, as far as like the locations, then involve you guys and some other folks on.
So when are you deciding the locations, Adam? When is that being finalized?
We picked out some good candidates today, and I think we're going to narrow that down Monday or Tuesday.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
So we'll leave it as I will get your contact information from Heather, and I will shoot you an email, and then you'll have my contact info, and we'll go from there.
Much appreciated.
So since we did the Abby's appointment formally, maybe we should do Abby's appointment formally as well.
Okay.
So
move to have Wendy be the liaison to work with Adam on activating downtown East Lansing during the winter.
And
second.
All those in favor?
Sorry, I missed that. Who seconded?
Oh, sorry.
Abby. Oh, Ted and Abby, pick one.
Thank you.
All those in favor, say aye.
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 Okay, all those opposed? Oh, okay. All right.
Guys, thank you very much. I appreciate your time.
Okay.
Thank you, Adam.
Working
Thank you,
together.
Adam.
All right. Have a good evening.
You too.
Hey, Adam, go home.
Yes, I'm going home now, I promise. Thank you.
All right. Okay. Heather, how do you feel like we're looking? It is 6:26 and we still have 2 more items. Do you think we can get through them?
Let's try. So the main thing on these last 2 items, there isn't something to vote on, but we do need to reach consensus. So we can, if it gets to be 6:45, 6:50 and we're not done, we can continue the conversation via email. But then at the October meeting, I will just recap the consensus just to make sure it's all public and above board. But we can make the consensus via email. Since
Okay.
there's not
Yeah,
anything.
let's give it a whirl. Let's see if we can be super speedy here, guys. So we're moving on to the greetings mural. Do we, what exactly do we need? We need to, everybody was supposed to bring 3 items that they wanted to see embedded in the mural, the greetings tour mural. And how shall we do this via Zoom? We don't have a whiteboard that we're writing on.
Yes. So I was thinking, Justin, can you actually share the attachment I sent today? I think we won't talk about the timeline today so that we can get unless we have time later, but so that we can get this. Okay. So I wanted to share this with you all first so you can kind of see where your pictures that are in your head are going to go. Wendy Longpree and I talked with Victor and Lisa, the artists, 2 weeks ago now, I think, we went through the creative brief that was also attached to your agenda. We picked some different pieces that we liked. They are not set in stone. You definitely can change those, but some of those things are the font and angle of greetings from. There were some different options for that on the creative brief. There's also different options for the font of East Lansing. It can be more rounded, it can be more bubbly, it can be less angled or even more angled. There can be shadow, there can not be shadow, that kind of stuff. So if anybody has any preferences, look through the creative brief and let us know. Otherwise, this is basically what Wendy and I picked just so that they could have an image for tonight.
Sorry. Okay.
Other than that, yes, I think that I will write down on my paper here, and then can you see what I write? Well, I don't know if that's gonna work.
Did the chat comments save?
We'll try that. Maybe. Oh, it looks like Justin's got it. He's good.
Justin,
You're on it.
That's why we got Justin. So if everybody just wants to go around, I guess, and say what your 3 things are.
Okay, great.
We can start from there.
I'll start. I'll go real quick. Broad Art Museum, Sparty, and I'm torn between. Well, okay, I had 5: the Red Cedar River, Beaumont Tower, and the Mary Sharp sculpture outside City Hall.
okay, I can only, because 2 of mine are duplicated, I'll just add Black Squirrel to that.
Oh,
People don't have them. It
No,
really
you're
is
right.
like a very regional thing.
it is. You're right.
I like that.
I have Albert White Park or any of the city parks. I like Albert White because it has that little,
The
platform
pond
out
roundabout.
over the pond. Yeah.
So great.
And this, I don't know how you'd illustrate it, but I tried to think of things that made me proud about East Lansing, and one of them was the incredible commitment regionally to music in all its forms. And East Lansing's main contributions to that musical scene is 2 things: the 10-pound fiddle, which has been around for 40 plus years. It's an amazing series. And then the MSU Professors of Jazz, again, big,
Very nice.
they're big time.
The East
Anybody
Lansing Art Festival.
Mhm.
Well, and I also had down percent for art program. It's a concept. I don't know how, but obviously, again, a huge commitment to the visual arts, or we wouldn't be doing this mural. And also the fact that we were the first, and guys, help me out here, as a city council, to approve not gender equity, but do you know what I mean? This was years ago.
It's our equity ordinance, Megan.
Yeah.
It's pretty sweeping.
Yeah.
Also, we recognized MLK Day before anybody else did too.
Yeah. Oh, that's
Wait,
cool.
say that again, Jesse. What was that?
I believe our community was the first community to recognize MLK Day, or at least we did it significantly in advance of the federal government.
Huh. Okay.
But there's that. Those are hard. Those are not concrete things to
Right.
Right.
illustrate, but at least they're out there.
Visual image, right?
I also thought, and this is completely different from my concept, is what's been around forever that's kind of iconic for generations, and it was Beggar's Banquet.
Mm.
Oh. Since 73.
Is that right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and many generations of college students and their parents would remember Beggar's Banquet, and it's still around. Let's hope it lasts through the pandemic.
Right.
I'd like to add a few things. The downtown clock tower.
Yes. Nice.
I had the Mary Sharp sculpture on my list, as well as the Andromeda and Cassiopeia sculptures.
Mm-hmm.
And trees. And I also wanted to second Laura's comment from the last meeting about the suggestions from the artists being too MSU centric.
Yeah.
Specific. I would like it to be more about East Lansing than the university.
Gabby and Austin.
And sorry, one more comment from Abby. I also wanted to salute the idea that they had listed about acknowledging the Native tribe history in the area as well.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, everything I thought of has been said like 8 times, except for maybe something giving a nod to the agriculture history of East Lansing. Maybe incorporating like the hamster cage and how it kind of reminds me of the like the
really
Windows
Totally,
screensaver. Yeah, like the old Windows screensaver with all the pipes. That's what it reminds me of all the time. And
maybe that could be the background.
Yeah,
Hamster
that's
cage.
Because
Yeah.
truly, Abby, like when I was looking at it, I feel like the letters are too small. And I don't know if that's actually the thing that just we looked at before, but I felt like the letters could be enlarged much more unless they are actually putting images into that background as well.
Well, so what they can either, so some places spread images across a few letters. So like, let's just take Chicago, for example. You've got, we got deep dish pizza and we eat way too much and there's all these hot dogs and all this other stuff. And then they got the sports teams and then they have some landmarks. And so I think the hamster cage and the Mary Sharp sculpture, and I know we don't want to be MSU, but something related to Sparty would be pretty easy and recognizable and, pride evoking or whatever. But some of these other ideas that are more, I guess, less visual, I would love to figure out a way to put those in. But yeah, so with the lettering, they can spread images across letters or they can widen the letters themselves, but I have not seen any with imagery in the background.
I saw some. There was a few in that thing.
Like it would be like, okay, so in our background, I noticed right away that it looked kind of deserty. So it would be something vague deserty or like a sun or like a tree, but it wouldn't be our very specific, it would be like weather or coloring. It's a background, like your screensaver, but not like the stuff that's the meat of the city identification.
I feel like this is a great opportunity for them to change that by using the hamster cage, which is kind of like weather.
I think the hamster cage can fit in the letters for sure. I think it can. I think all of this can fit in. It would be really cool if they could figure out a way to do some of the stuff that's really about inclusion and about fairness and about trying to move forward and repair, not make the same mistake over and over again. Like, we're crazy, we try to improve ourselves. So if there's a way they figure that out, that'd be great.
Can I jump in? For the background image, the Red Cedar River, just kind of a generic river symbolic of the red cedar might go with their sort of landscapey thing, and it would free up a litter. So
Totally.
Yeah.
I really like that idea. I also wanted to potentially add maybe the farmers market. I'm not sure how well that could be represented, but I thought that'd be good.
Yeah.
And then I know, again, we don't want to focus on MSU, but maybe Zeke the Wonder Dog.
Oh, I love
Oh,
That'd be
I like
fun.
that.
Yeah, that's fun.
All right, Heather, wait, does anybody else have anything else they want to throw in?
I had another one written down, the Ann Street Plaza. Just,
Okay.
you know, a focal point of activity, used to be anyways. Back when we had festivals and music on Saturday nights and stuff.
Right, back in the day.
Yeah.
Heather, where do we go with this list? This is quite a large
Yes.
list.
So they want 5 things.
Holy smoke.
Oh.
I do.
Die on a hill?
I agree with Jesse that the Red Cedar River, generic river, could be the background, because that was something that we had talked about. They were like, which background do you like the best of the ones we've already done? And I think river is definitely an option. So we could take care of that.
Could I say that I wouldn't be mad if any of these things appeared, and could we just give them the list and let them decide what fits best?
That was kind of what I was going to say next. We
Yeah.
can either narrow it down to 5, or we can give this to them and say, have fun, surprise us.
Do we want to maybe asterisks?
If
You
we
know,
have,
maybe
like, we definitely want the Native tribe history acknowledged, then yes. And
I
then
mean, I think there's been a real positive toward the hamster cage, for example. Does everybody agree that that's pretty iconic? I mean, I think we do want things that people immediately recognize.
Right.
And and that certainly is one that would be immediately recognized.
I think that's one, and the Mary Sharp sculpture sounds like everybody was sort of in agreement on that. Is that true, everybody? No, maybe?
I could take it or leave it.
with that one, we will have to try to find permission from the
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, okay. Anywho, I would die on a hill for the black squirrel, but that's
I would too. I loved that idea, Tada.
And I wonder if that could even go in the background with the river, you know, because there was a couple, I think it was the Little Saigon that had something small in the background or at the top. Like, I wonder if a black squirrel could go there. I mean, I think we've got to have Sparty in there either.
Yeah. He can be representative of all things MSU.
You know, and I hate to say it, but no, I don't hate to say it. Broad Art Museum. I mean, my God, you can't drive through East Lansing
and not see that.
I mean, it's just, yeah. And it's although would we have to get rights for that?
I don't know about that.
I think so, in the respect that, I mean, it's pictured in like the mural that's by Jersey Giant, or what, you know, by Campbell's, you know, the mosaic.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, it's in that, and I can't remember.
I can call for permission. They are really like, yes, yes, yes. Like when I asked about Sparty, they're like, how many images can we send you? You know, so I don't anticipate a no.
The artist permission was just for the artists. Victor and Lisa said that they wouldn't paint someone else's art without their permission if we could get a hold of them. So I think Broad, like you said, I mean, we could ask them as a courtesy, but I don't think we have to, because it is a building, even though it is also a piece of art.
I do not want to put the kibosh on this conversation. However, it is 6:41. How are we doing with time-wise? We still have to, Heather was hoping to get to this, the last, what was it, that, not having the agenda in front of me, I apologize, but I believe.
Send it off and move on.
Yeah.
What do you think, guys? Are you comfortable with what we have there, with those highlighted items?
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything else that you're like, okay, I'd be so sad if this was not in it? Is there anything else that, Red Cedar River, we should have that highlighted maybe, because that was for the background.
And did I get it wrong on the Mary Sharp sculpture? I didn't mean to put words in anybody's mouth.
No, I love that. That was on my list, but
Okay,
on the same token, I don't know if we need permission, if we can get, if that's an option or not. But it is pretty iconic, I feel like. I mean, I love that outside of City Hall.
Could we please
Right.
have an additional highlight for the Native tribe history? I really do feel like that is something that we need to have in there. In the name.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's pretty good, right? Those are the biggies. And then anything else they want to augment with? Are you all comfortable with that? Do we need to make a motion for this, Heather? Or is this just kind of a general consensus shebang?
We don't need to make a motion. You could if you wanted to,
I think we want to give them flexibility. So why don't we just give them this list and
Yeah, artistic license for sure. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, great.
And then real quick, Justin, can you go back to the timeline? Just so because they want to do things like they want to do several rough drafts to see how you feel about it all first. So they're thinking about getting the feedback and getting everything back to us by next week.
Wow, really?
Hearing that as we move forward. It looks like the 10-15, they will be available for our October meeting, so we can talk, make decisions then and talk more about it. But they're looking at having some stuff started next week already for us. So I guess my question is, are you okay with doing stuff via email?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I am. We're halfway there anyway, aren't we?
Okay. All right. So just look for an email from me in the next couple weeks with a rough draft then.
Perfect.
Great.
Great. All right, back to the agenda, if you don't mind. Thank you, Justin. Cultural arts grants. Yes, we were hoping, did everybody have time to read through this really quick? We wanted to finalize the wording on the arts grants. Heather, do you want to go over that really quick?
The last couple of years, the commissioners have said after the fact that they would like to take a look at the guidelines for the next time. It keeps getting forgotten. So I thought that I would do that this time. Again, we're up against the deadline, but it's your grant, so you can choose your deadlines. But I wanted to make sure that the guidelines were what you wanted them to be before releasing the call for submissions.
And can you refresh our memory on the dates of that, Heather?
So typically, I would have released the call for submissions the first week of September. They'd be due the first week of October, and you would have selected the recipients during your October meeting. At this point, if we can come up with edits, if necessary, tonight that I can make, or over next week, so I can make the edits by the end of next week for your approval, we can release it the first week of October. So then we're just exactly 1 month behind. So you would be doing the recipients during your November meeting instead.
So Heather, it's Karen. I have a question. So like I'm concerned about what has happened to this year's grants.
Yes.
For all of the grantees that had in-person events that I can't remember how many of them would have happened pre-pandemic or how many of them were going into the pandemic.
Isn't that acknowledged in the, I thought that was acknowledged in the guidelines that I read.
Yep. So, and I didn't give you all an update on everybody, and I should have done that. But everybody has been told they have to have their event done by the end of actual year 2020. Yvette, who was doing the project at the library, the passport photo, I just heard from him this week actually, and he and the library have worked out a art project. I don't have the timeline yet. I'll share it with you when I have it, but He's gonna be doing banners and covering the whole, I think, southern side of the library with artistic banners that he's put together.
So he's changed up his project, not doing the
Changed up his
printing out and.
Yep.
Okay.
And then the only other one that I have not had an actual event for yet is the WKAR. They were planning to put it off until October, the same movie kind of thing, but they're going to do it in October. So we'll see if they're able to do that, if they can go through with that. But otherwise, everyone else has either changed the scope of their project or deferred to next year, or they were able to do it before before COVID hit.
Okay.
I have a couple suggestions on wording, but you know, if people disagree with me, that's fine. But especially this one that I'm going to suggest, under criteria, should we put in there that we give special consideration to artists of color or all abilities or something along those lines, to really put out there that, you know, we're trying to be extremely inclusive? So that's one thought. And the other one was, I just have a question about application. We come down really strictly that if somebody messes up the application, they're immediately eliminated or whatever. I think in the past, Wendy has indicated that if somebody needed to tweak their application or something, you guys worked with them. I just want to make sure that we aren't excluding people who maybe don't have the resources to write a beautiful grant like some organizations do.
Okay.
Megan, can I clarify your first thing? You were suggesting that we add language that projects with a focus on diversity, equity, and inclusion would receive priority. And is that what you're saying? And are we allowed to do that?
Thank you for wording it much better than I did.
Okay. I think that's a lovely idea if there aren't any legal implications to that.
Good point. I don't know.
Check on the legal implications, but if that's something you would like in there, then I'll check and edit accordingly.
I like that idea. Thank you for suggesting it, Megan.
Mm-hmm.
Any other amendments?
Megan, where in the current guidelines was your second suggestion?
It was more under, let's see here. Let me go back to my notes. Under application information. I'm flipping between screens here. Oh, it's not up there right now.
Yeah,
Oh,
it is
yeah,
at the top. Incomplete applications or those.
Yeah,
that
the
do not-
second bullet point, right? Or those that do not meet the eligibility. The only reason I'm hyper aware of this right now is because I'm on the Community Foundation Board, and I was just reading a column by a fascinating guy who has worked to broaden, nonprofits led by artists of color. And he said often those get short shrift in grant processes. So he's actually suggesting foundations don't award grants anymore, that they make their funding mechanisms, they change them. And I thought that was fascinating. And so it has made me a little more skeptical about the way grants are given out. And I just thought, if we could work with somebody who appears to have promise, but maybe doesn't really know how to fill out a good grant. I realize city staff is just slammed, so I don't know if you have time to do that, but that's just what was behind my thinking.
So,
Megan, will you send me that article?
Yeah, it's fascinating. It's by Vu Lee.
I need more stuff to read,
Can you send it to all of us, please, Megan?
Pardon?
Yeah,
send it to all of us.
Yeah.
Sure, will do.
Yeah. So are you suggesting that that point be just deleted?
Well, yeah, because what if we got an application that maybe, I have to admit, in the past I've gone like, this application doesn't, meet everything we asked them to do. They're out of here.
Mhm.
Well, and frankly, that's happened with somebody who should know how to fill out an application, and they just didn't they kind of blew it off, I think. But I'm talking, I just don't want to eliminate artists who have promise and they're trying to get some funding.
Okay.
I don't know. What do
Otherwise,
the rest of you think?
Would you say historically we would be absolutely inundated with applications and this was a way to weed people out? You know, what is the, you know, say we take out that bullet point, what do you think the change will be? Anything?
I don't.
Hopefully, we didn't have enough applications last year. It's like
Yeah,
we
so
upped
does it-
people's grant amounts. So
This
this might
point is like, what, if we take it out, no harm, right? We give everybody the same due diligence and look at everybody's application. I mean, is that, I guess, if we were overrun, perhaps.
Who do you think, Heather? Would we be overrun if we took it out? And then if we did have an applicant where we thought, oh man, this sounds like a cool project, they kind of screwed up the application a little bit, but let's.
But we could reach out to them.
Right.
Yeah, I could definitely do that. I don't foresee us being overrun based on history, but if we are, because we took that one thing out, then isn't that what the grant process is for?
Mm-hmm.
So.
We can always change it next year. We'll learn from it if something does go awry.
Just time check, we're 6:53, so we've got 6 more minutes before we get booted off.
So does anyone have a problem with either of those changes?
I support a change, an attempted change that is with the mindset of being more inclusive. I think that's great.
I support.
Then I'll move that both those changes be incorporated into the grant application.
A second, Tada.
Okay, great. Heather, is that what you needed to hear? Are you comfortable with that?
Yep, I'm comfortable with that. We just need to approve the motion.
Okay.
I'm sorry. This is Jane. I apologize because nobody's on the screen and I don't know voices well enough. Who motioned and who supported?
Oh, Megan motioned and Tetta supported.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sorry, Jane.
Sorry, Jane.
Not a problem.
Okay, so all of those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
Aye.
Like sign? No? Okay. Great. So moving back to the agenda, we are at the recap. So I might need a little bit of assistance on this. Bottom line, Heather, I think we started out, you said you were going to update the budget. Am I correct on that?
Yep, I'll bring in an updated budget and attendance and one other thing. Oh, the developer progress, where we are in.
Oh, in the whole scheme of things with the 1339. Okay. Then the let's see, Bailey Center. I am going to, you will send me something that I sign and then bring back to you. That's for the fee structure agreement. Pincanna, we approved, and Abby is going to be a liaison. Hannah Community Center, we're going to revisit the funding, and that will happen next go round. Jesse's going to talk with, oh dear.
Yvette.
Yes, thank you, Yvette Robinson. And was there anything else that we need to do in regards to that? Is perhaps that will be added to a future agenda?
Yep, I'll check in with staff and see
What the history was.
And yep, I'll bring a report back.
Great. Okay. And then Adam Cummins, he is what is his title? He is from the which department?
He's from the
Planning and Economic Development Coordinator.
I'm so sorry, Jesse, you said that at the same time and I missed it. What was that?
How do you do it? Sorry.
He's from the planning department.
Planning department.
I
Okay.
didn't know the specific title, Jesse.
He's our Planning and Economic Development Coordinator. He moved into Tom Fehrenbach's position when Tom moved up.
Okay. Okay. And so we've left it that I will be a liaison with Adam to try and advance the everybody getting out in the cold this winter downtown. And I'm going to pick Megan's brain on that in the process. And then greetings tour, we have provided a list of some really phenomenal images, and hopefully we'll get some feedback on that. And I think we're good. Did we make it? 6:56, 4 minutes to spare.
Bravo, everybody.
Really, good job.
Move to adjourn.
Move to adjourn. Okay, any second?
Don't even
Second.
need a vote.
Don't even need it. All right, we're all good. You guys are awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Nice job,
everybody.
Wendy. Thank you,
Bye,
Heather.
everybody.
Take
Bye,
care,
guys.
guys.
Justin. Thank you, Jane.
Thank you, everybody.
Okay, bye.
Austin and Gabby, you should talk more. Austin
Yes,
and
ma'am.
Gabby, you need to talk more.
Okay. See ya.
All right, bye, guys.
Bye, everybody.